And we are back with part two of Secret Society, the Illuminati, allegedly. Yeah.
All things are alleged in this video
Yes.
and for entertainment purposes only.
Yes. All right. So you were talking about another video,
Yes,
correct? Or
yes,
another society.
yes, the Illuminati.
Yes.
And after reading about it, I was like, okay, this is a little different. It wasn't what I was anticipating. However, I can see where things could go awry. So I'm going to mess up this guy's last name, his German name. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I know I'm not. I'm going to try my best. So the Illuminati was founded by Adam Weishaupt. No, it's probably with a V. Hold on. It's probably Adam Weishaupt or something. Sorry, Adam. He was a professor of canon law on May 1st, 1776, which was interesting because that was what, the same year the America was discovered. Um, yeah, right. Okay. That's another show.
Yeah.
So in Bavaria, which is modern day Germany. So Mr. Adam created the group originally called the Order of the Illuminati with the goal of promoting Enlightenment ideals such as reason, secularism, and the reduction of religious and political oppression.
Hmm.
That's key, I think. That is key. The society aimed to influence decision making and knowledge among the elite by spreading rational thought and fostering a more enlightened society. The group initially attracted intellectuals, free thinkers, and some members of Freemasonry, and it grew to about 2,000 members at its peak. However, it was viewed as subversive by the government and religious authorities, which led to the Bavarian government banning the Illuminati and other secret societies in the 1780s. So that got my gears going because they are the government and the religious authorities were suppressing knowledge, which, in my opinion, continues till this day. You know,
Right. So true.
you know, because if you can uh, remove critical thinking from people's normal everyday life,
Hmm.
and demonize it, uh, then you can control them, and then add a level of fear. The other 99% is in your hand, like putty. You know, that's a whole nother show. Oh my God. I'm mm, just thinking about like the Catholic Church,
Hmm.
its roots, and the control that it has today, you know. But anywho, since we're talking about the Illuminati, okay, so I'm going to, because, some people are like, oh, people get to where they are because of their talent and their drive and their hard work. So I'm going to bring in a video of Mr. Cat Williams and let him talk. This video is 7 years old, and he was on the YouTube channel Black Tree TV. And I'm gonna let him speak for himself.
Oh, and just before you do that,
Yes,
we ain't got no Cat Williams money. But why don't you come on this here show, sir?
girl, cat. Oh my God, that would be an awesome show if he did.
It would be.
Because I have lots of questions.
He's one of my favorite comedians. I really like him. He's just very, what's the word, to the point.
Mhm.
Doesn't hold back, no punches. Doesn't hold any punches. He just says what's on his mind.
Yep, and I think he's a bit of a seer as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
very intelligent.
Yep, yep.
Come
Okay,
on the show.
let
We'd
me.
love to have you.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Next video. Okay.
Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them. Nobody likes them. End quote. We all love Dave Chappelle. Exactly. Dave Chappelle has never been a part of the Illuminati. They don't want him or me or people like us. But now it's not necessary for us to stir up that hornet's nest unless we intend to get stung a million times. I didn't understand that. They had to sting me a million times. I'm still not going to join, but I respect it a little more.
All right. How do you handle that? Because they put your name in the press with a lot of rumors and a lot of situations that they try to put on Cat Williams. Do you feel ever the need to, like, I got to go defend this and put out a story about who I am, or do you just let that kind of like roll off your back? Well,
as you can see, I've let it all go for quite some time, and a lot of that is just based upon the fact that I don't really know how to complain because all of the people that I ever looked up to had to go through it too. So I know how much they talked about Martin Luther King, and I know what they ended up with. I know this same story about Jesus and a few of my uncles. So now I know that if your mouth is really, really big and you try to tell the truth for a living and you like to air people out, hatred is coming your way. I didn't know it was going to be this type of hatred, but I'm
Interesting. And that was 7 years ago. 7 years ago. And I remember he was going through all that when he was getting arrested, and they were trying to make him look crazy, like they try to make Martin Lawrence look crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And you remember when Anne Heche, right before she died, the accident where we were getting like drone footage or helicopter footage of her being rescued because her car, like, careened into like this house or something.
Yes.
Fire and all that. And that video showed them like zipping her up. They were like zipping her up, and she was like she wasn't dead, but it's creepy, So then she dies later in the hospital. But if I'm not mistaken, allegedly, she was kind of making some accusations before she died about Hollywood. But yeah, it's creepy. It's very creepy. So I think my thing is, and going back to that lady that I had spoken to at the beginning of last episode about that had the talent agency.
Yes.
I think people have to decide the sacrifices that they are willing to make, whether it is, just your time, your family, your time away from your family to get to where you want to be, and also bigger sacrifices, because it looks like allegedly with the rituals and things like that. And I'm going to play one more video.
Okay.
That kind of talks about these rituals. Now, I don't necessarily agree with, it's going to be Alex Jones, and I know he's a different character.
Alex Jones, you say?
Jones. Yeah, girl.
Oh, I don't know
He
who that is.
he was, the last time he was in the news that I remember was when he was taken to court for like defamation or something, and he has to pay like millions of dollars to the parents. What was the school shooting out east? But he said it was all a farce and that they were paid actors and all that stuff, and that no kids died. But he ended up getting sued for that, and he lost. But he's had a channel for years and a website. And I used to watch him years ago, and I'd be like, this dude is doing this for money and entertainment. But I'm not an Alex Jones fan, but he's like one. He was like part doomsday prepper, and he would sell like meal replacements on his website, you know, apocalyptic like stuff. And I'm like, okay, he's playing into this fear factor too. But I'm just gonna be honest, there were some things that he talked about, conspiracy theories type things, that I think he was kind of onto something, you know, but he can be outrageous. So it's been years since I've actually like sat down and watched him, like a good 10 years at least.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a very controversial figure, I will say that. But he's been around for a long time. But like these rituals, well, let me play the video.
Okay.
Last video, just a second. And it's just a short. There we go. And I think this is interesting because he's on TI. He was on TI's podcast. So
Oh,
yeah. And I have something to say about that too. Hold on.
okay.
So they hit all the top actors and they hit the top musicians. The Grateful Dead is played there. And a lot of them aren't getting what this ritual is. It's a Faustian German death cult ritual.
May I ask, what's their mission statement?
Their mission statement is leaving spiders come down here and forget about the terrors of the world and do basically a voodoo ritual. But they don't say that from Africa. That's just a common term of where you put something onto something else. Like they used to have spirit sin eaters in old Europe and in England, where they'd have somebody, when somebody died, you put a piece of bread on their stomach, and a sin eater would come and believe that they ate some of the sins and take some of the bad mojo. That's basically the same as voodoo. And so they do voodoo there, and it's a ritual where you put all your cares onto this child that you give to the idol, and they take it very seriously. But the way it was described to me is a lot of people that go to it, it's a place to party, hang out, talk about stuff. So they
One thing I will say that I think he could have chosen a better, if he would have just stuck to rituals and not singled out like voodoo rituals, because that's a whole other classification of African deities that don't have anything to do with these rich white dudes meeting. Allegedly, I'm gonna say.
Okay.
My opinion.
He's throwing a lot of terminology around there and talking really fast. I have kind of a little theory about people who talk kind of fast, depending on the situation. Are you making up stuff? Are you trying to, get your numbers up? Are you lying? Is what I'm asking. Are you lying?
Now he's the one that got the Bohemian Grove footage. So he was talking about Bohemian Grove.
Okay.
From the footage where he was in, and they didn't know that he was recording. So he did get actual footage, allegedly. So probably the closest thing that he could think of to make would be a voodoo, probably because voodoo has a negative connotation. When, you got to tell Black folks that their religious or spiritual origins are bad, and then make them believe yours and not for their good or our good. But anywho, that's another episode.
We got a lot of episodes, right?
But a ritual is a ritual, whether, it's based in African religion, European, Romanian. A ritual is a ritual, period. So, so I think that anytime, I don't think it's far-fetched to think or be wary of getting huge, like if being an A-lister. And if I was thinking, there was this video from this guy, this actor, I wasn't familiar with him, but it popped up on my feed several months ago, but he was a Seventh-day Adventist, but he was an actor getting regular work. He got to the point where he was supporting himself as like a series regular and things like that. But he said it started to get where he was recognizing they would have his character doing things that he realized were symbolic of the Illuminati. That's what he said. allegedly. But one thing had to do about the eye. And so there was a shot where he was like laying down and I don't even know, like the whole all seeing eye, that whole symbol thing that they say Beyonce throws up on everybody. That shot would have been, it was a close up. And he's like, oh, that would be like the Illuminati all seeing eye. And he was trying to talk to the director. He was like, well, script wise, it makes more sense to do this. It doesn't make sense to do the whole eye thing or whatever. He said first the director was on board and he was like, no, let's just get it anyway to have more coverage. But after that, he started declining work because he said he saw where his career was going and the things that he would have to do to continue to work in the industry. And like at this point, he wasn't even a household name. I mean, I wasn't aware of him before, but he was on some shows that I'd heard of that I just didn't watch. But I think it's something to think about. I think it's something to think about for sure.
Definitely. And maybe, just maybe on the flip side, maybe it's not what it seems. I'm just putting that out there in opposing views. So some people may feel that it's not. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, well, is that our time? Okay. Yeah. Well, fans, we so appreciate you joining us on this episode of Chatter 15 Minutes of Fame. We will be back. We have a very special guest coming up, and we are so excited. So hang in there with us. And hey, comment, like us, love us, subscribe. Until next time.
Boy.